All right, man, peace. So, one of the different things that I had thought about for a while, and if you've ever watched my channel for a while, you've noticed that I've done a lot of different videos where I have let you know verbatim that a lot of the points that's going on in society is that they're trying to target men, and the whole goal is for the men to become fluid so that they have no problems of removing boundaries, whether it's sexual, whether it's mental, physical, or whatever have you. And with that being said, there was also a barrier that needed to come in place in which manhood is being removed, such as so one of my videos I remember doing where they had to basically deviate themselves by sitting up there saying and calling themselves super straight instead of straight for there to be a difference. And with that being said, today's man is an experiment for the next generation. Who do they target more than likely? Generation Z, even though they still have their plights on generation millennials, but more so than not, their plights is on Generation Z. And the thing about it is, if you've ever watched a lot of these programs back in the day in the 90s, there's been a lot of these like shows that showed very fluid or homoerotic behavior, especially with cartoons. And they never really let you know that it's exactly like that, but it is exactly like that. Namely, Two Stupid Dogs, I believe the name of it was, or Rump and Stumpy was a good example of that. SpongeBob SquarePants, that's supposed to figure two male characters and then playing dress up as mommy and daddy. There has also been many cartoons besides that that really denoted these men dressing in women's clothing or even music videos. I think there's been a couple of men that have noted like videos of LL Cool J having a romance with a transsexual, or the fact of the matter that you had Biggie that woke up next to a transsexual in this video. And another thing that happened with Busta Rhymes getting upset that Biggie is talking to his girl, quote unquote. More so than that, just going back to the challenges that we've seen, it has been a staple on social media that a lot of people had gotten to these challenges. And in my opinion, me being more of a misanthrope on these type of ordeals is, or ideals or ideas, that more or less being said with that, a lot of these social media presences or challenges basically got people into a sheep-like state. And with that being said, my analysis first came into this from something I seen a while ago from 2020 during the pandemic called the Don't Rush Challenge, in which you had a lot of men participating in a challenge that was actually more so women doing it than men, where the woman would usually be in her comfort clothing around the house, usually featuring a nightgown, a robe, or something like that. And then she would put makeup on her face, contour her face or something like that. And then she would put that brush into the camera, the makeup brush, and then magically she would doll up and get into a great outfit, when all it was is to note that I'm looking cute at home. Advertising for the average man to probably get into her DMs. But when men started to do it, and this is just my opinion, I didn't look at it as manly. And this is just an opinionated fact-based video in which I didn't understand for the life of me why a man decided to be half naked. And then the next thing you know, he's licking his lip and looking at the camera seductively, trying to denote to the ladies that he's at the Don't Rush Challenge and I'm home too looking good. Maybe it's just my cynical mindset. But otherwise than that, I've seen more stuff that's happened where it started to make me question a lot of men in this society. Not only something like the Don't Rush Challenge, but when you start to get individuals that's supposed to be influencers like the Island Boys that are known for doing a lot of stunts, rap videos, and on top of that, coming out the closet, so to say, and, performing some like-ish sex act on each other, and then sit up there kissing each other on camera. And then besides that, when you start to question certain individuals like Sneeko, and sorry to say that, didn't mean to diss him, but the thing about it is with someone like Sneeko, who always has these speeches about men aren't men anymore, but he comes from a career where he dressed up in very feminine clothing. Something has got to give. And it's just one of those sort of things that go on my mind that tells me that the influence or the presence of men on social media is having them become very fluid and very feminine day by day. And with that being said, as we move on into this crazy society as the man is becoming fluid, of course, we already have the ones that could be outed as queer, fluid, whatever, by dressing up as femboys or other things out there where they dress in very provocative women's type clothing. When that being said, it even goes more out the window when you start to look at things like the latest TikTok challenge that's called the Glizzy Challenge with men, in which they start to put food, namely a hot dog, in their mouth or start to stimulate some type of guac essence and trying to gather attention for comedy, shock, and views. But this is a very alarming thing that men are doing in society that I pay attention to. I don't know if others pay attention to it, but the thing about it is there was a difference on how men carried themselves in society if they wanted to be noted as a manly man. Now today it's about exposing the boundaries, going over the boundaries, and not seeing a problem with the different things that they do, but very much stimulating a lot of homoerotic acts that take them away from actually being masculine men. That's just my opinion. But just to end off on this point, of course, we have an understanding. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, then you know that I know that I've always talked about these issues day in and day out, and about how the men of today's society is supposed to be programmed to be on the woman's level, number one, and number two, to be fluid so that it's okay for a man to lessen the boundaries that the same thing that a woman does. Succubus, incubus spirits, one of these different things where they start to become over DL, just it doesn't even be DL. So that's just my opinion. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Do you believe what I'm saying is true? Do you think that I'm overreacting? Make sure you give your thoughts in the comment section. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Peace.